This week on One Day Leader, our leaders tackle the issue of unemployed graduates in our country. Don't forget to tune in to SABC1 Mzansi for sure. Good evening, sanibonani babukele makhaya ngiphinde nginamukele kwi-One Day Leader igama nginguphoba kwaShongwe, and we're coming to you live from our studios in Randburg, Johannesburg. Tonight is D-Day for our contestants. In this episode, our leaders will battle it out for the position to be in the finale. Ingabe obani abazophumelela? Well, sizobona makuphela lesi siqephu sethu namhlanje. To the topic of discussion for tonight is unemployed graduates. But before that, let's take a look at the scoreboard. And there you have it. As you can see, Mzansi, the scoreboard has been wiped clean. Everybody is back to 0 points. Mzansi, the One Day Leader team is changing the gameplay. We're putting pressure on all our leaders to fight harder to earn their place as this season's overall champion. Well, leaders, the stakes are higher. It's all up to your intelligence, how strongly you can put your points across, how well you present yourself, and how strongly you present your case to our judges. I can only hope that these leaders will certainly up the stakes. Otherwise, they will be packing their bags and going home. Back to tonight's show. Unemployed graduates can be defined as individuals with educational qualifications such as bachelor's, honors, master's, and doctorate degrees. South Africa has seen a constant rise in highly educated youth who have resorted to social media or begging on the streets in hopes of finding a job in the field for which they have studied. A growing army of unemployed graduates are now forced to either rely on their families to support them or find jobs as unskilled workers such as waiters and clerks. Putting education first used to be a solution to increasing your chances in the job market. But Mzansi, this has failed to give some young people a head start in life. Which leads me to our debate topic of the day. Why are our educated graduates still unemployed? It's time for us to hear from our remaining leaders. They are set in place and ready. Kuhlekonke, good evening. Your vision statement, please.
I am Womandla, armored in hope and faith, marching towards the realization of the dreams of African women. I see a South Africa that strives and accomplishes for indigenous prestige, a country with young, vigilant people at the forefront of political and social discourse. Young people, ixesha lifikile, rise up.
Good evening, Leader 4. Your vision statement, please.
Thank you very much, Pearl. I believe in a South Africa where the means of production, the mine, the banks, the land belongs to all who live in it. The buildings on this land must not be owned by the selected few. Indeed, that is the only way to solve racial issues in this country. South African graduates, join me in ensuring that this generational mission is achieved. Nothing and no one can stop us.
Hello, Leader 5. Your vision statement, please.
I am a child born out of wedlock, the daughter to a once convicted criminal, a sexual abuse survivor. I have risen against all odds to stand on this podium, but I do not stand alone. I am because you are. If you are looking for hope, if you want a reason to believe that you can make it against all odds, I am it. Hashtag I was born for this.
And last but not least, hello to you, Leader 6. Your vision statement, please.
Thank you very much. I envision a leader that will empower a child from a rural area in a township to lead, give a nation access to the land and quality education for our economy to remain alive. Bagayetu, please join me in Chance for Change.
Thank you very much, leaders. Now let's see how you at home can vote to choose your one-day leader for this season.
To vote for Kuhlekonke, SMS Leader 3 to 32672. For Bekisisa, SMS Leader 4. For Sibonisile, SMS Leader 5. And for Zongezile, SMS Leader 6.
Remember, viewers, 300,000 Rand is up for grabs to the leader who wins this contest, a grand prize amount that could certainly change a life. Ngakho-ke Mzansi, keep your phone in the palm of your hand and be ready to make your vote for your #1 leader of 2018. The National Youth Development Agency, the NYDA, is a South African-based agency established primarily to tackle challenges that the nation's youth are faced with. Nurturing young entrepreneurs is important for the NYDA, given South Africa's high youth unemployment rates. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Executive Deputy Chairperson of the NYDA, Ms. Bavelile Hlongwa. A brief question to you. What are some of the challenges that we see in trying to connect unemployed graduates to the job market?
Thank you very much, Pearl. There's quite a number, but as you know, all graduates, or all youth, should I say, face unemployment, poverty, and inequality. When it comes to job placements, you find that, well, in other spaces, there's just no opportunities. In other areas, it's a mismatch of skills. In other areas, it's an issue of, what should I say? It's an issue of not going out there and doing something, because you can either be employed or create employment. So those are three things that are out there in the market for young people, which are a challenge right now. And all of them, well, particularly the one of creating jobs, sits squarely with the issues of resources. Do you have resources to start something? And is there anything else that you can do when there are no resources?
Indeed. Thank you very much, Chair. Of course, let's not forget we also have our resident judges. They are Catherine Constantinides, an environmentalist, entrepreneur, social activist, and executive director of Miss Earth South Africa, and Debo Kgoditshego, an entrepreneur, public relations guru, and founder of Read a Book SA. Mzansi, let's give them a warm welcome. Now, as I said before, our topic of the day is about unemployed graduates. Let's take a look at how the task of the day relates to this issue. And then there were 4. Good day, leaders. Today we'll be looking at the paradox of unemployed graduates in South Africa and what the causes for that are.
A study commissioned by the Development Bank of South Africa found that a young South African who gets and keeps their first job for 12 months or more has an 85% chance of being employed for the rest of their lives. But with unemployment rate of 26%, the future looks bleak. 7% of unemployed youth South Africans are graduates. They cannot find work because they have no experience and cannot get experience without a job. One of them is Phumla Zigote, an accounting graduate who works at a call center.
For your task this week, you will meet 25-year-old Phumla Zigote, who's originally from KZN but has relocated to Johannesburg. She is an accountant graduate, and yet she finds herself working at a call center to put food on the table. You'll also meet Precious Mngai, a lecturer and economist graduate who's done and written extensive research on this issue. This is the harsh reality of many young graduates in our country. Zongezile, you are the leader on this task. It's your duty to ensure that you work as a unit and that you lead your team to the successful completion of this task. We're close to the end, leaders. And pretty soon, there will only be one. Good luck.
The task that we have been given is a very interesting one because it's a current crisis in our country. Currently, the unemployment rate in our country is sitting at 26.7%, and the majority of that is the youth. Statistics were published, and they were talking about the 5 million youth that is not employed, and about 40% of it is graduates. So it just shows that this is a serious crisis in our country, and it's something that needs to be looked at.
Mzansi hlala nathi ukuze nibone ukuthi abaholi bethu ingabe bazoyixazulula kanjani le ndaba. Don't go anywhere. Ngiphinde nginamukele ku-one-day leader ohlelweni lenu labaholi bakusasa. As I said before, Mzansi, on tonight's show, it is do or die. There are 4 contestants, but which ones will be in our finale? Siyazibuza nje ukuthi ingabe abaholi bethu bazokwenza kanjani namhlanje ukuze baphumelele. Well, before we find out which leaders will cross that finish line, let's see the final outcome of this week's assignment. The topic of investigation is why are our educated graduates unemployed? This is the conclusion the leaders uncovered regarding this issue.
I recently graduated from University of Johannesburg, so I'm originally from KZN. After graduation, I expected to get a job at least as an accountant. Yes, so I've been applying for jobs, for internships. I apply online, and also I've done some couple of drop-offs at the actual office. So most of them, I don't really get a response.
I think what would be important to know and what we'd like to know is just for you to give us a brief background of what it is specifically that you studied, what type of jobs you're expecting to get into, and also whether you've done research.
So my qualifications, a BCom accounting degree. I liked accounting initially when I was doing it in high school. So when I did my research and I saw that, okay, it's actually something that I won't struggle to find a job in. It is a scarce skill that is needed. So that's why I chose to go with it.
Looking at Pumla and the choice of study and the choice of degree that she had, it made me wonder if it would not help if in high school, schools did personality tests, right? Where they look at, according to your personality, which field are you suitable for?
I honestly believe that she's a true representation of those who are unemployed, mainly because many of the unemployed don't have maybe leadership skills. They didn't take part in extracurricular activities. And that also contributes above and beyond the academic performance of one when they graduate.
Why then are you not employed in your field?
I would say the reason being, in doing my research, okay, you would think that it would be easy to get in, but it appears in the industry, they obviously have their own requirements that they want before they employ you.
Which are?
Okay, they would particularly need people with working experience, or it also has to do with your, like they check percentages, how well you did at school. So they would set that bar that they were only taking people who are with a certain percentage, the overall average. So you see, that's the other limiting factor when finding a job.
Other than what you have on paper, what can we see from you? Do you have confidence? Are you persuasive? Are you believing in what you are giving us that you can do? That's written on the paper.
I think there's a lot more life skills that we need to start teaching in our universities. I think a degree is not enough.
We talked to Precious at the Northwest University. Most of what she told us were things I also researched on and I knew.
What are some of the major factors that are contributing to the currently rapidly growing unemployment rate in our country?
Some of the factors that came from there were things like the field of studies that students study towards, and also the economy, SA's economy as well, given our very discriminative labor market, you know, and also the higher education institutions that students studied from. That also came out as a factor, and things like choice of subjects, the high school that you attended, etc.
And so what are we currently doing for those unemployed graduates at home right now who's been unemployed for 3 years? They still don't have personal development. They don't have any experience within their field. And I think we need to start addressing that before we even say, let's go back to the curriculum. We've produced a lot of unemployed graduates right now, and it's because of the curriculum that has not been transformed and decolonized.
Yes, the conversation is always that government needs to do more. The conversation is always that corporate needs to do more. Our institutions need to do more. But I do think some level of responsibility also needs to go to the individual.
You spoke about different institutions and perhaps which institutions you are from. But then when you look at the top 10 universities in Africa, the majority of them come from our country, but still, some of them still don't get hired. So with this particular instance, this lady studied accounting from UJ, which is also part of the top 10, but she's still not employed. So how do we account for someone like her who hasn't been employed for over 2 years after they've graduated?
You know, if you look at UJ is a historically disadvantaged institution, which then could point out to the kind of institution that you come from. But then again, remember when you go for interviews, you need to sell yourself more than the title of your degree. It also boils down to how you sell yourself. Because when you say, I have a degree in chemical engineering, they're not so much, you know, interested in that. But the skills that you have learned throughout your degree could also, maybe could be one of the factors they consider the most.
It sounds like a lot of people right now are going into our tertiary institutions to find employment, and not enough importance is being placed on going into university to create more employment.
When Zongezile told us, since we are going to be helping her with drafting of CVs and pointers in the interview, I think really that is a good thing. I mean, we are just, she's not just a bait. I mean, we are finding information from her, and also we are helping her.
Okay, let me...
Mailbox number 0.
No, but guys...
Bagaetso, Ramofonetse Pomla, Haramo Greya, and we are very disappointed because we had plans for her. We wanted to share some of the skills that she could use for her interviews, and also check perhaps her CV and try to make it proper so that she could probably find a job, and also give her some of the tips that she can actually use to get a proper job, because it has been 2 years. But unfortunately, we couldn't get hold of her, and also we are very disappointed, but it's okay.
Well, next up, our judges will share their comments about how our leaders performed on their task. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching One Day Leader. This is a big night for the show, where sparks are certainly going to fly as we draw nearer to selecting our top finalists. Tonight's discussion is about educated graduates and why they're struggling to get jobs. To join the conversation, visit our Facebook page, One Day Leader SA, to share your comments on the topic. Also visit our Twitter page, that's at One Day Leader, and hashtag One Day Leader 6. Keep us trending. It's now time to hear from our judges and hear what they think about this week's task. Catherine, I'll come to you.
I think it's important to say that these leaders have grown. Throughout this entire season, you can see the growth. Their understanding of this topic has been thorough, and we're really, really proud of each and every one of you. They listened. They used critical thinking skills in order to go into this task. Their research, fact-finding. You understood what you wanted to go in and get out of your discussions, and you did that. Additionally, your persuasive communication skills have been harnessed over weeks and weeks of learning. From each and every single episode, we can see your growth, and we would like to really commend you. We're not going to single out any single one of you. As a team, you have worked hard, you have worked as leaders, and we commend you for that.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Well, we also have a chat to Ndumiso Hadebe, who is, of course, the winner of this very show, One Day Leader Season 2. Ndumiso, welcome to the show. It's so great to host you tonight. What are your impressions just on the disconnect that currently exists between young graduates being able to find employment?
Well, Pearl, I should say that I was quite impressed by the growth of the young leaders from a research perspective and the depth that they've had from a qualitative and quantitative perspective from their research. Given in that, in understanding the unemployment question, it's also important to understand the reasons for the unemployability of graduates as well. And it came out quite strongly in their research because unemployment amongst young people who are graduates is as low as 6%. And so they went in deeper to understand what are some of the work readiness issues that the young candidate might be facing. And they highlighted them. I would have loved to see them sharing some of the insights that they gathered from the research around her work readiness. And so as a result, I'm encouraged by this year's candidates. And I think I just have one thing to say to them, that in the words of Professor Ben Okri, who once said that no one can hand us the destiny that our bones and our dreams long for. And so as they move beyond One Day Leader, it is all in their hands to ensure that they make this experience valuable for themselves and for the country.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Ndumiso, for that. All right, it's time for us to take another quick break, but we'll be back. Do stay tuned.
The National Youth Development Agency, it's an agency of all young people in South Africa. It's based in the presidency. We give out grants as an institution because we believe that young people must have a heads up rather than to burden them to further, loans and so on. So we've got an entrepreneurship grant, which starts actually from 1,000 rands. All the way up to 100,000 rands. There is a system now that we've developed. We always encourage young people to say start small and ensure that your business grows to wherever it wants to go. So those are some of the things that we actually busy with.
And that was a message from our proud sponsor, the NYDA, who play a crucial role in developing the youth of our nation. Thank you so much for your support. Mzansi, the moment you've been waiting for has come. It's time for the big showdown, which debaters will be eligible to contend for the crown of One Day Leader 2018 next week. 4 are standing here tonight, but who will have to say goodbye? We'll find out. But before we get to the battles, let's take a quick look at the rules of engagement.
These are the rules for the One Day Leader debate. You have 30 seconds to state your vision statement, 60 seconds for the opponent to challenge, and 30 seconds to conclude your debate.
And with that, leaders, I'm pretty sure you're waiting to fight for your spot in next week's final. So the first debate will be between Kuhlekonke and Sibonisile. Kuhlekonke, your 30 seconds start now.
Education has become a $4.4 trillion global industry that is not producing graduate degrees with quality. We need to have stakeholder engagement. Industry and the private sector need to have an active role in the educational system. They need to start drafting in partnership with the educational system the curriculum to fit the skills deficit within our industries. Young people need to take charge of their lives and take advantage of the opportunities. Let's have seminars drafted in our curriculums to ensure that we know
Thank you very much,
available.
Leaders, you have 60 seconds.
You're placing a lot of your solutions on what it is that we need to do, and not on the economy, on the world scale of where South Africa stands right now, because that's the biggest factor. What do we do about that?
Your question?
My question is, you're talking about students and that they must do all these things, but what about our economy? What about businesses that are not taking
absolutely,
jobs?
Zongezile. We need three stakeholders here. You need industry to have an active role, the young person, and the educational system. The problem we're having here is that the educational system, listen to me, the educational system needs to reflect the skills which are lacking within industry. So that we're not producing.
How does that happen?
So that we don't
You're
have.
saying we all agree,
I'm
but how
answering
does
your
that
question.
happen?
But we don't have 5,000 young people gunning for 50
How
jobs.
does that happen?
Zongezile, what we need to do is to ensure that we're creating job creators as opposed to job seekers. It is important that young people learn how to empower themselves. The curriculum needs to have business acumen included with faith.
Thank you very much, leaders. Time is up. Kuhlekonke, the remaining 30 seconds are yours.
Young people, the solution is in our backyards. We need to commend the government for investing in TVET colleges, because it is the true reflection of how a young person can go from being 18 to be an employed person. We need to include skills within our secondary educational system, so that we are not just putting people through a system to say that we are celebrating graduations. Young people need to take charge of their lives, but it's important for us to go back to the roots of the problem. The educational system from secondary education needs to be the solution.
Time is up. Thank you very much. The tables are turned. Leader 5, you'll have the 30 seconds.
Perhaps we need to divert our attention from creating more graduates to more skilled individuals with strong, innovative entrepreneurial skills. It's not just about the qualification, it's about the skill. Our theoretical courses need to be directly linked to their own skills and training programs that are mandatory. And then there's our manufacturing sector that only stands at 13% instead of the recommended 35%. This show is trending using phones from China and South Korea.
Time is up. Thank you very much. We have 60 seconds to engage, leaders.
Zongezile, do you not think that currently the technicons in this country are a true reflection of what has to happen? Invest in technicons instead of universities, so we're producing young people with skills.
Absolutely not. Why are we leaving universities out? I'm saying every course in our
No, we're not leaving them out.
No. Every course in our institutions must be linked to a practical skills development. You cannot say you're a studying engineer and you've never touched anything that needs to be built.
Absolutely, and that is
it's not just about... No.
That is why
it's not just about the theory. We need to work on our skills and then manufacturing as well.
We need to have businesses coming into the curriculum and providing traineeship while you're still a graduate. So they're producing people who
businesses can come in, but if you don't have the skills, it's not going to work.
But that is what they're doing, providing the relevant skills.
No.
But that is what we need.
No.
The only person who can provide thorough training is the person who's seeking the employment. You can't just take someone and say that, no, we've produced for you.
We're not going to take just anyone, but I'm saying every course must have skills.
Time's up. Thank you very much. Leader 5, you have 30 seconds to close your argument.
The low rate of our manufacturing stats has cost us over 800,000 jobs. And then there's the fact that we need to give better incentives to corporations for them to want to hire more graduates, for them to want to create more jobs. And we can do this through amending our labor laws. But the onus is also on us. Success does not come to those who wait for it. You must work, volunteer, find places where you offer your services, whether it's a small business, it does not matter what it is.
Time's up. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, leaders. Tebogo, let me quickly come to you. I mean, you heard the discussions and, I mean, internships. And there's been a lot of discussions among young people about internships, which are linked to some university or technicon qualifications. But anyway, your thoughts on that first debate and the verdict, please.
Wow, that was a house on fire. I'm very proud of how you guys have grown. Kuhlekonke, well done. You spoke about stakeholder development, aligning the skills with what is necessary in the economy. You commended government about FET colleges. So you did a great job. This was your best debate so far. Zongezile, awethathile. Awethathile. You spoke about the global perspective. Our manufacturing sector is at 13%. If you look at the manufacturing sector in Japan, it's 29%. Germany, 29%. South Korea, 28%. And their unemployment rates are below 3.6%. So you hit the nail on the head. and therefore you took this debate.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Leader 5. Well, our next update is, of course, between the gents behind the podiums. Zongezile, you're up against Bhekisisa. You've got the first 30 seconds.
South Africa, our graduate unemployment rate is sitting at 7.3%. Over 400,000 graduates are unemployed. How do we solve this? We need to reform our curriculum from primary schools to tertiary institutions. Our curriculum needs to coincide even with the jobs that are going to be available in the future. Our curriculum also needs to be skill-driven. The other thing that we need to do is to include entrepreneurship courses and make them compulsory within our school system. This will assist us to create more platforms. So the more platforms we have,
Time is up.
the more graduates will be able to...
You have 60 seconds to engage, leaders.
Zongezile, you spoke of the unemployment of graduates sitting at 7.3%.
Question.
Yes, that is my question. What are we doing about them?
Yes,
you are talking
so I have an answer to that. So we need to have entrepreneurship programs
but
for the ones...
Let
me answer your question. We need to have entrepreneurship programs for the ones that are not working. Yeah. The second thing that we need to do is to consider something called the transport subsidy, the graduate transport subsidy. For me to travel from Verdwaal to, from the government and the states and other stakeholders, we'll work around it. For me to travel from Verdwaal to Joburg, it costs 500. So if I'm to have 4 interviews in a week, that means I'll have to spend 2,000. She mentioned that the problem with our country is that some jobs are centralized in urban areas, not necessarily in rural areas and townships. So we need to empower them by giving them money to go and find... Listen, the problem is you're not listening.
I'm listening.
You're not listening.
I am.
So after, we need to empower the ones that are existing. And then with the curriculum, we are preparing for the future because we're in the 4th industrial revolution. So whatever we teach in school, so
time is up.
That's what I'm saying.
Leaders, before we continue with this debate, can we understand that we cannot continue to have monologues? We must give each other an opportunity to engage. Zongezile, we have the remaining 30 seconds.
Thank you very much, Pearl. South Africa, thousands of our graduates are every day advertising their qualifications on the streets. We need to solve this. What other way can we use again to solve this? We need to have proper, solid partnership with the private sector. When you look at the private sector, they are already in the 4th industrial revolution. What is taught at VET is completely different. So when you graduate from VET and you go to the private sector, they have told me personally that what they teach us in VET doesn't necessarily prepare us for what's currently going to be done. Research has also shown that
Thank you very much. Leaders, continue to listen to each other. Bhekisisa, you've got 30 seconds.
7.3% of 38.6% of unemployed youth is constituted of unemployed graduates. University of Western Cape found out that the cause of that, it is because they don't have experience, there's a mismatch of skills. So in China in 2006, they had the same problem. What did they do? They legislatively instructed their local government companies to absorb these students, to give them experience so that they can give them skills, and then the industries will be able to absorb them since they have the skills.
Thank you very much. Leaders, you have 60 seconds to engage.
Yes, I like the fact that you agree with me about the skills one. My question to you is, we have over 400,000 graduates right now. What's the plan? What are you proposing? What are we going to do with them?
If you were listening to me, I said that China had the similar problem.
I was listening to you.
Listen.
You spoke about numbers.
Listen. China legislatively instructed their local government companies to absorb the ones that are not employed, the graduates. Why are we not doing the same?
We just mentioned that there's a couple of universities that
let us capacitate that. Let us capacitate that.
And also screaming it doesn't make it anything.
Let us use apprenticeship. Let us expand on our SETA programs. Let us expand on our
What do we do then to prepare for the future? You're not saying anything about the future.
Then we call on private sector, tell university what do we expect from a person who has been declared a graduate.
They don't have to tell. They have to establish research on both sides. Because we are in the 4th industrial revolution. Should do. They are not lecturers. The private sectors are not lecturers and professors.
They must be legislatively instructed to come
and
sit.
Thank you very much, leaders. Bhekisisa.
We must commend Nelson Mandela for giving us the spirit of negotiations. We need decisive state intervention from government to call on private sector, to call on institutions of higher learning, sit on the same table. Private sector, what do you expect from a person who has been declared a graduate? And then private sector says that. We are not only doing that to create jobs, we are doing that to dignify education. We are doing that to eradicate poverty. We are doing that so that a person who's educated can have confidence and say, I'm educated, I can put bread on my table.
Thank you very much. Quite a heated debate. Chair, I'll come to you to give us your impressions and, of course, the verdict on who took that one.
Yeah, you know, judges must caucus. Right. But effectively, it was a good debate. I think they raised very important points. You find that many things hinges on legislation, but it's also important to look at different solutions, given, you know, the kind of a cocktail of graduates that you'll have. So this debate, we are giving it to Zongezile.
All right. Congratulations, leaders. 6, thank you. Well, that was our final debate for tonight. After the break, we'll find out how our studio audience have voted for their favorite leader and which leaders will be staying or going. Stay with us. Welcome back to One Day Leader South Africa. We have come to that moment again where we will be giving marching orders to someone tonight. Who will it be? Well, we shall see and find out in just a moment. But first, let's hear what the judges have to say about how our leaders have performed just throughout the season as we lead up to next week's final. Kathy, I'll start with you.
I really believe that we have an exceptional group of leaders standing in front of us. They've done so much to grow in their personal and individual journey as leaders, and they've learned the power of a collective. They've each brought so much to the party every single week, and I think week on week, they've learned the dynamics of teamwork and the power of that. They each go home after this season as leaders who can contribute back into their community, back into our country. And that is the most powerful thing that you can take out of this experience. And I look forward to seeing what each of your individual futures hold, because each of you have an important role to play.
Thank you very much, Kath. Tebogo, very briefly, please.
Well, I'd like to say I'm very proud of your journey. You've all shown potential growth. I think that industry role players from your political parties, if they don't take you Pegasus, I don't know what they're doing. I think you have the potential to be a future leader, specifically in politics, and perhaps also make an influence in business. Kuhlekonke, you are amazing. The growth has been substantial, and I also believe that in the private sector and even in government, you do well. So I think you guys have shown that leadership is not a position, it is an action. And I hope that this is just the beginning of your journey.
Thank you very much. And to our guest judge, very briefly, your overall impressions of our contestants.
Well, for me, it's a sensitive subject that we're discussing today. And I take home and some of the things that are raised by these young leaders in front of us. And, you know, you can never underestimate the importance of alignment between private sector and the education system, which somehow always goes in a different direction. You can never underestimate the importance of legislation and all the programs that you guys have suggested. But I think there are fundamental things that we need to do at the level of government to ensure that we enable those suggestions. For me, the four people, the far left were more people of policies, the far right were people of programs. And that's what I picked up. And it's a good combination for a team.
Indeed, yeah. We'll have to leave it there as we are running out of time. But before the break, our studio audience had an opportunity to vote for their leader. I do have the results. Congratulations, Leader 5. You are the audience's favorite tonight. All right, let's take a look at our scoreboard as it stands. All right, Sibonisile is in the lead with 2 points, and Zongezile, leader 6, is following behind with a single point, and leader 4 and leader 3 both stand at no points. All right, we saw the scoreboard. Those are the results. That means that, unfortunately, leader 4 and leader 3, we bid you farewell tonight. Thank you so much for having been a part of this journey with us. All right, Kuhlekonke, we'll take a quick look back at what your journey with us has been like.
The first place I decided to Kuhlekonke is my high school, Pinetown Girls High School, where the idea of Womandla started before it became Womandla. Bravery into all things, where we were taught that women, you can lead.
We have shaped this young woman to shape the future. She has been in a leadership position on the RCL at UKZN. Now she is on this program.
And that's when I realized to see our leadership qualities work are not just leadership qualities that are ordinary, but they are extraordinary.
Ngiyambona uphokophelele ukuzimela ekubeni umholi useholile.
I get to the field and the grade 8s, the future of Pinetown Girls, had formed 3. And that was exciting because that's my leader number. But more than anything, we had to sing. As black people, kumnandi masicula. So I'm a student at UKZN. To the students of UKZN, because njoba ngikwi-TV, it's because of you guys. So I was explaining my ngifika just my nuclear family, uma, ubaba, ingane zasekhaya, mangithi ngiyafika khona ugogo, omalume. Wow.
And that's Kuhlekonke's journey. Very quickly, Kuhle, can we get some parting words from you?
South Africa, thank you for believing in me. Thank you to the judges. But most importantly, I think that young people need to realize the potential in their pain. If there is still a bright future. Tap into that potential. Go through a healing process because you do have a good story to tell. If you're a young unemployed graduate, go there. Push, because it's Sasalita and Zongezile in this country. To the African National Congress, let us fight and advance the futures of these South Africans.
Thank you very much, Leader 3. Leader 4, we take a look back at your journey.
I'm on my way to home. I am so happy that I will see my family, I will see my mother, I will see my father, I will see everyone that is important to me. I will see the entire family. Wow, so many people I see, they are gathering at home.
Kepha ngithena sengimbona vele ku TV uyazi ngakhala inyembezi zagcwala amehlo inyembezi zenjabulo ngimfisela into ezinhle zodwa ngimfisela okuhle kodwa angathi angaphikelela njalo futhi umntwana omuhle ngoba umntwana olaziyo nesonto
lento yama one day leader bengayazi mina ebehlala afuna izimali ngazi ukuthi uyisaphi ngithi yo groove phela ema university lapha badlisana yabona kodwa ngigcine ngimnika umuntu uma umbona ehla inyembezi uzomnika namuhla I say boy focus indlela yakho ivulekile na
abanye abantu bazaplayela izinto ezikanje because ibackground yabo umuntu ubona ngathi uhlupheke kakhulu ukuthi angawina ngithanda isibindi sakhe keep it on my brother you are a leader.
Indeed, Begisisa, your parting words for tonight.
Well, the very sad part about that, it was the last time I saw my brother. I would like to thank Mountaintop, I would like to thank SABC, I would like to thank One Day Leader for giving me this opportunity. I would like to thank my mother, I would like to thank my father, I would like to thank my friend Lindo for always being there since day 1, top 20, since taking a video. I would like to thank everyone, Luyanda Mhlongo, your family has been supportive to me. I would like to thank everyone, even the contestants here. We were like a family. It will be very hard for me to adjust to the township life again. But I would like to thank everybody. Doors for One Day Leader are open. Whenever there are entries, please apply. It's a nice journey. I've made contacts. I'm going on with the struggle of economic emancipation of our people.
Thank you very much, Leader 4. Well, big congratulations to Leader 5 and 6 for having made it to the final. Guys, good luck for next week, eh? But you're almost there. Well, viewers, it's also up to you to decide how these two contestants will fare in next week's finale. Who are you going to crown as your one-day leader for Season 6? Our voting lines are now open, so keep on voting for your favorite leader by SMSing their number to 32672. Your votes will be revealed at the top of next week's episode, or rather at the end, because that's when we'll be announcing a winner. That is all for tonight's show. Thanks to everyone who joined us tonight, our candidates, our judges, our audience, our Season 2 winner, and of course you at home for joining us and watching tonight's episode. I leave you with this quote from the late father of our nation, uNelson Rolihlahla Mandela. A good head and a good heart are always a formidable combination, and I think that quote speaks directly to the caliber of our leaders. To you at home, join us again next week Thursday as we crown our ultimate one-day leader. From myself, Upulshong Umtimanzu Bambolu, and the rest of the one-day leader team, good night.